Now, with our step up, our knee is going over our toes in this top position. Now, how do we train the very bottom of that? Is with the ATG split squat. Because notice this. Knees not over the toes, knees not over the toes, knees not over the toes, knees not over the toes. Now, only in that bottom position does it go over the toes. So you want to find the stance where you get the fullest pain-free coverage without the back knee touching the floor. So this brings us to the next point of regression, which is that we can regress mobility on this by elevating the front foot. That would reduce the angle of how much that back leg has to stretch. But this stretch through the hip flexors, I think, is actually setting us up for much greater success with our knees. Because if these are tight, then we're getting constant pulling on the knee. And you have two tendons. You have a tendon here and a tendon here. So just because this one's getting pulled up, that actually means you might have pain now below just because all this is so tight. So it's hard to unlock all this when this is really tight. And for our backs, we spend so much time sitting, driving, on our phone. We're like this so much that I think we have an extreme imbalance. And I think that basically all humans, unless they're training for it, have stiff hip flexors. And this would be a normal lunge. It doesn't stretch it. And now if you just stretch against it, that's okay, but you're not strengthening. When you get stronger, so you're handling that tension. When you get stronger through a stretch position, you create a much greater difference in how much you actually lengthen and hold that flexibility. Pushing against flexibility is very different than being able to own it and hold it. And the effects seem to be like exponential in terms of injury reduction, in terms of being able to keep your flexibility and not have to just keep stretching. Last point in the ATG split squat is we do want to get measurably stronger. So our normal thing would be to do 5 reps, take a 30-second break, do the other side 5 reps, 5 sets of 5. That accumulates 25 reps. But once that's easy, now I want you to do 3 sets of 8. When that gets easy, I want you to do 2 sets of 12. And when that gets easy, I want you to try to do 25 in a row. Still with a short break, let things cool off between sides, because even that back side is working really hard. So you always take a break between legs on this particular exercise. This is the first point in the session that you should take a break, is between legs. So now being able to build up to do 25 in a row would be an excellent goal. You wouldn't even necessarily have to change the exercise, you just get better at the exercise. And that brings in a little point, which is healing with high reps, meaning doing this motion and then loading for 5 reps. That would be cool. We do that as well in advanced year. We have 2 different workouts in advanced year. One where we're just doing 25 reps in a row, 1 to 2 sets. Is it a weak point for you? Do you have a weak side? 2 sets on the weak, 1 set on the strong. And then a separate session adding load. So when we, for the same amount of low reps, get stronger, that creates a bulletproofing effect. There's more potential to prevent injury in the first place. But there's also the internal healing process. And when we do high reps, we get more blood flow, more healing.